Hey everyone, before we kick this episode off, I urge everyone listening to like and subscribe to our podcast, wherever you may get your podcast from. So if you listen to us on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating, or also subscribe to us on Spotify. And I urge all of our listeners to head to our website, and you can get more than just our podcast from there. We have news stories all the time there. We have feature articles there. So head to tnpmedia.au. That's tnpmedia.au. All right, without further ado, we'll get stuck into the podcast.
Talk and Power, your motorsport and motoring radio show. Now on 88.5 FM, The Valley Comes Alive. And podcasting across iTunes and talkandpower.com.au.
Okay, Talk and Power podcast episode 205. Welcome to 2025. I am Nick DeChimbra, and I'm here with my co-host Simon Gonzo Travellini over there and Michelle Morrison over there. How are we, Simon and Michelle?
Doing well. Busy. It's nice to sit down and
Relax.
And have a chat. Yeah, and I feel like this is the first chance I've really had a chance to take a seat. Longer than 7 seconds.
Longer than 7 seconds. Hey, I just want to shout out to Seth Good. I'm meant to be at his 21st tonight, and that's how much this show means to me, Nick, that I've given up going to Seth's 21st. You know, you only have one 21st.
You do. You only have one 21st. Thank you, Seth, and thank you, Simon, for joining us. It's where was the 21st?
Yeah, we might
go later.
The night is young.
I think you need to turn that mic down a bit there. We might.
Is it still cool to gate crash?
I think so. I think it is.
Anyway, look, it's great to catch up with you. It's been a while. We caught up. Am I too loud?
Yes, you're right.
I think you turned mine down. Oh, I've gone back up again.
Yeah, no. He's just rusty. It's been a month.
It has been, it's been exactly just a month and 1 day. Mind you, I recorded the best of on my own. Just sat down one night and said, I'll do the best of 2024. Yeah, it was good.
Was it good?
Reminiscing.
Nick's highlights.
So we walked through. So if you haven't listened to that episode, go back and have a listen. The best of 2024 as the episode came out last week. You can have a listen to it. Simon, what have you been up to?
We took Reno's car down to the track for the last meeting to start the licensing process, and looked magnificent on the track, if I do say so myself. So I'm not sure if he's going to be running in modified or if he's going to be running in outlaws. But, for someone that has never driven anything down the quarter mile to get in a blown short wheelbase suspended, that chassis on that car is basically a street rod, and just get into it and slowly work his way through. I was pretty impressed by his driving. It was
cool.
That's great. I didn't see him. I didn't see it there. So what does he have exactly?
Yeah, we were parked opposite you guys. A silver 34.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. Great.
Yeah.
So he's looking to come out soon.
Well, I'm not sure if they're going to do more laps because of the way they run the track at the moment. You're limited to how many runs they'll give you in licensing. There's a spider about to jump on you there, Mitch.
Oh, beautiful. I think that's supposed to be good luck.
Is it?
Yeah, I'll just let it. It can just hang on my microphone, and if it wants to give me luck, I'll just let it bring on. I've got racing this weekend.
You do?
Yes, we do. No, that's all right.
What's coming up this weekend? It is the
Nitro
Max.
With Tommy Johnson Jr.
Yeah, he's back for another week.
Isn't
Nitro
it?
Slam?
Yeah.
Slam. Nitro Slam.
Nitro Slam, sorry.
Okay.
Nitro Slam, yes.
Isn't it amazing that we have these fantastic drivers like Tommy Johnson Jr., an American legend, come over here, and I haven't seen any billboards, haven't heard it on the radio.
Yeah, it's been on Facebook. I have seen that, and the ads have been on Facebook. But it was really great to have Tommy Johnson Jr. over for the Nitro Max on the 4th of January. And I tell you what was really nice. He actually hung around for trophy presentations and had a chat and spoke to everyone there afterwards. And yeah, it was really nice to see. Really humble.
He's a great guy, and he's a great ambassador for the sport globally.
100%.
As is Larry Dixon, another American that we've had over in the past.
Yeah.
Yep. We'll talk about some more Americans that were over here soon, actually. And Michelle, yourself?
Yeah, look, Nick, it's been a very busy month, filled with Christmas and birthdays, and I've had 2 race meetings since we last spoke. I'd also like to announce on air, as you both already know, that I have Denani Hot Shots, which have come on board as a sponsor for me this season.
Well deserved.
That is awesome. I'll roll in some applause there, because that is an awesome news. And as I said to you on the phone, very well deserved. And from my point of view, Denani Hot Shots, they tied in together with drag racing over
Absolutely.
the years.
They've been a huge supporter of the sport for many, many years. And you know what? I think it's fitting because you're probably their most winningest driver at the moment.
Oh, gosh. Well, with Benny Stevens coming over this weekend for the Nitro Max, I'm not too sure whether I want to be taking that title just yet. But I'm really honoured to be a part of the team. And, yeah, for the Denani Hot Shots and Denani Haulage Transport, such a big name in business in the transport industry itself, but particularly Denani Hot Shots, the name that they have for how they support drag races and speedway sprint car drivers as well now. It's a real privilege to be a part of the team and join the existing list of drivers. So, yeah, it's a huge honour.
Car looks magnificent, by the way. The pink really pops with the signage now. It looks awesome.
Yes, thank you. I had to just do a quick craft sticker to get me by the deal with Danny. Yeah, that was just on my cricket machine at home. So
wow, that's amazing.
It looks legit, eh? It looked like it was the real deal.
Well, yes, thank you for that. I had Danny come on board just at the last week of business before businesses closed up for Christmas. So just had to do some temporary stickers to get the Denani Hot Shots name on the car for the 2 meetings, being on the 27th and the 4th over that Christmas close down period. But I will have some professional decals on there for this weekend.
Excellent.
Speaking of stickers, I wonder if Peter's finished our ones off.
I didn't know. Yeah, that's right. You had got some. Yeah, okay.
Well, I've become efficient at my cricket machine, so it seems.
I might have to.
Nick,
follow him up. I heard a rumour that your dad wants the garage back because it's sauce time.
It is sauce time. And for those that are listening, probably wondering what Simon's talking about, the XW has been sitting in the garage for 18 months, not moved. I've done a bit of work on it, but now I've cut the front end out of the car, so we can't move it. Well, I can get a dolly. Plenty of people have said you can get it on a dolly and slide it out of there, but
I think you just need to clamp the sauce machine to the bonnet. Tell your dad I'll come round and give him a hand. We'll drill some holes.
Don't say that.
We'll use the big washers.
Just lay down an old tablecloth and...
Yeah, that's it.
So, yeah, where the XW sits at the moment is taking up a bit of spot. Last year, I remember I had it on I hadn't cut the radiator support out, but now with the radiator support gone, I can't put the front wheels on.
Do you guys, I know this is a secret technique and everything, but do you pre-boil?
Yeah, we do, yeah.
You do, pre and post.
Yeah, yes, yep.
The secrets are out.
Yep. So, no secrets there. Actually, I had to make a few phone calls today because the sauce machine gave us a bit of drama last year, so doing some inquiries there. Anyway,
needs some upgrades.
Yeah, it does. It does, actually. It needs,
maybe just finish one project at a time, Nick.
You know, back in the day, my dad was in big demand for doing the electric conversion.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine, eh? Because back then you had to do it by hand.
You had to do it by hand, so you would get the pulley, and the big ticket item was the motor, right? So anyone that had a washing machine that they were throwing out.
Yeah, right.
How many horsepower was that?
I don't know, but it was a funny story about it because one of my relatives that I haven't seen for 1,000 years. He was like, well, what do you mean the washing machine motor? I said, well, that's what you use. And he goes, but the washing machine motor goes this way, and then it goes this way, and then it goes this way. And I said, no, it's a gearbox.
There you go. So, yeah, no, that I can imagine back in the 70s and 80s, he would have been in, really hot demand. Because now it's all...
Now you buy them.
Yeah, you buy them like that with the motor, yeah.
Can you imagine people now with the crank handle?
No, I can't imagine. That's actually my job, believe it or not. That's what I do. So I pass it through the machine, the tomatoes.
Yeah, but you don't crank the handle.
No, I don't crank the handle. Long gone. Those days are long gone.
Well, it's whether you're going to put your time into the car or into the sauce machine. Whether you'll be doing it manually or whether the work will go into the car.
Yeah, no, I'm going to have to... We're going to have to work something out anyway. I'm hoping that I can leave the car where it is because I really don't have the time. But anyway, you know what? It might be a good bit of a kick up the bum, really, to get the radiator support in and maybe get the car back on its wheels. Then it's the torque boxes.
Well, anyway. There you have it. What's your timeline that you're working with? Is there a special sauce weekend?
Well, the tomatoes have been delayed, believe it or not.
Climate change,
yeah.
Climate change.
So tomatoes are delayed here in Western Australia. For those that are listening, they'll understand. For those that make the sauce, tomatoes have been delayed anyway.
It's 88.5 goes out all over the Swan Valley.
I know.
Plenty of sauce makers.
Plenty of sauce makers.
Carabooda
maybe
away
some tomato
as well.
growers.
I know. So anyway, the third patch. Let's hope for that. Hey, what do we get? Michelle, you just spoke about, like, you've had a bit of a winning, got to the final a couple of weeks ago and then and got to the final again and won the final just last weekend. Give us a bit of a rundown on...
Yeah, so car's going really well. So since we last spoke, I suppose we spoke just after the Golden States. Should I give everyone a reminder? No.
Yeah.
So won the Golden States. That was fabulous. Took the gold Christmas tree home. And then we had the Night of Fire on the 27th of December. Mm-hmm. I got through to the finals and was matched up against Paul Garbolini.
Yep.
The event did get cancelled.
That was the horrific fire of Chris Rowe debuting the Mustang. Tragedy.
Yep.
Absolute tragedy. Thankfully, Chris got out of the car okay, and he's in the process of rebuilding.
Yep.
So sorry to cut you off there, Michelle.
No, I'm glad that you mentioned that, Simon, and condolences to Chris. It was a beautiful looking car and would love to see it back on track. But his health is the main priority and our main concern. So
now they ran the finals for that in qualifying. Is that correct?
Yes. So they did run the finals. There were a few brackets that missed out on running the finals for the Night of Fire, so that carried on. And we did get the phone call from Ray to decide whether we wanted to race it in the second qualifier of the Nitro Slam. Of the Nitro Max on the 4th of January, or if we wanted to split the points. And I thought it was good sportsmanship to run it in the second qualifier.
Yep.
So that was done, and I must have been getting a bit dozy on the 27th because my delay box was set as if I was getting a little bit tired because I had a very big cherry against Paul for that second qualifier, which was the final round. So yeah, a bit of a disadvantage there of not being able to really get your morning reaction time runs in consistent enough to be able to use that delay box in the way that it's really programmed to. But nevertheless, it was a great race, and Paul took home the win for that one. But then, second chance at taking home a trophy, and I'm sorry, I'm trying to think how many races it's been since then. It's confusing me because the winner's trophy was silver as well as the runners up, and so I'm like, hang on a second, but I saw Paul hold two of them. Am I right here?
They were 1 week apart, weren't they? No, sorry. No. You were the 27th. So the 27th, that got delayed to the 4th.
Yep.
So you ran your Oh, yeah.
But then I won one. When was that?
Yeah, the 4th. The last meeting.
But that was the 10th, wasn't it?
Oh, was it?
Yeah. Yes, no, the 10th. The 10th,
yeah,
okay.
10th, yeah.
No, wait, the 10th, we didn't race on the 10th.
No, sorry, the 4th. You're right, the 4th.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
that's when Reno was licensing that beautiful silver hot rod.
Yep.
And you won that one.
Yes.
On
the 4th. You didn't,
Paul,
there was no,
Paul returned the favour, I believe, with the red light.
Okay. So, yes.
Yeah, so the 27th
for the
got
27th.
delayed, and then you ran the final of that in your second qualifier on the 4th.
On the 4th.
And then you won the final
On the 4th.
On the 4th.
On the 4th.
On the
Yep.
4th.
Yep.
Oh, gosh.
May the 4th be with you.
Yeah.
Look, it's been a whole lot of racing, and I've got a winner's trophy.
The point is, there has been this incredibly epic battle between Paul Garbellini and this little lady here. And it has been amazing to watch.
It has
from
been.
a spectator's perspective. And, you know, you could not get any more diverse vehicles. You've got, the big block Animal Altered up against the Smooth as Silk LS Dragster.
Yeah.
It's just been so cool to watch you two battle it out.
Yeah,
And,
it's been really cool. It has been really cool running with Paul. He's got such a consistent car and he's a great driver. But I did a little bit of a Wild West theme to him when I heard that we'd be versing each other again. I was like, here we go again, you know. So he's been keeping tabs on
Dragsters at dawn.
Yeah. Yeah. So we will see what fate brings for this weekend on the 18th of January.
Yep. No,
when
it's
we
excellent.
return to track. And
So, moving on, guys. The High Limit International at the Kwinana Motorplex.
The High Limit International, can I say, it was more than what I expected. I've got, I only went one night. I went in the middle night, the second night. I didn't go the third night. It was back to work the next day for me. But I must say, I was extremely impressed. There was over 10,000 people each night.
Massive congratulations to Chris Mitchell.
Yeah.
And all the Motorplex staff that put this together. They've been working frantically for months to get this together, and it's certainly, all their hard work certainly paid off.
Yeah, yeah. And the introduction of Coney. So did you...
Yeah, that means something different down in Kwinana, Nick. You know?
Hats off to her, and I believe it was Chris. I don't know. I think it was, because I know he's an RC guy. And he's developed so you know the cone that you've got to go, the cars have to go around, turn 4, they put the cone out.
Yeah.
And on the restarts, the cars have to go on the outside of the cone.
And usually there's the rope.
There's
and
a long
pulled
rope.
across.
It's a cone, and then they drag that cone. Now they've remote controlled that, so it's on a. But they've given this cone a personality. So it's got eyes. They painted it white, and he's become a superstar.
Sounds like a Klansman.
But honestly, when I started reading about this on social media, I said, how exciting can that be?
Has it got a burning cross somewhere?
No, but it is. The kids honestly go absolutely nuts for Coney. So when they actually stage
This is in Kwinana, the kids go nuts for cones. Is that what you're saying, Nick?
No, what I'm saying is it is a marketing masterstroke from Chris or whoever it may have been. So we had...
Has Coney got a sponsor?
It won't be long. It won't be long, I'm sure.
Can I suggest the smoke shop?
Cloud9.
So they had a drone show. So before the 2 feature races, they had a drone show. So all the lights go out for the drone show. That was pretty cool as well.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Was Basil there?
No, he wasn't. Basil wasn't there. And then they get this massive torch from somewhere, big spotlight, and it comes down on the track, and there's Coney on the track.
Yeah.
And Coney takes off at 100. This thing's quick.
Yeah.
Coney gets around the track quicker than what I could drive my car around the track, honestly.
And
The
so-
XW?
Even if I had
I think I could walk around the track
Is it on the dolly?
I could probably, even in a quick car,
Faster
I'd
than you can push
probably...
it out the driveway.
Honestly,
Anyway, so Kyle Larson was...
I must say, look, I mean, from a marketing point of view, I know I'm getting excited, but it was incredible about Coney.
Well, I think, I can see why. I'm looking from I didn't actually go to any of the high limit events, but, does the cone have eyes?
Yeah, it's got eyes.
Yeah,
It's got two eyes.
Because I saw the T-shirts, and they've been selling out at like
they're
every
sold
event.
out every night. They're sold
So
out.
there's kids running around with Klansman
No,
T-shirts.
they're adult T-shirts. There's adult T-shirts as well, because you know what?
Well, that makes sense.
Yes, but with the witch's hat white coat. I actually said to my I always get tongue-tied when I think of this, and I just have to say, my nephew, I said to my 15-year-old nephew, we just celebrated Christmas on Saturday, and I said I was a bit stumped from ideas, but you can pick something out at Oval Track, and I'll buy you something from Oval Track. And he goes, "Oh, good. Oh, yeah, great. I'll get a Coney T-shirt."
See?
I'm like,
and he's 15.
Because I said to him, "You've been going to a lot of the sprint car events lately." I said, "You go and pick something out." And I said, "Let me know and I'll get it for you."
Is Coney spelled with a K?
No, it's not. But
Double E.
Honestly, the kids, when that spotlight came on and it was right on Coney, the kids went absolutely mental. Like they do, they really enjoy it, and it's often took around the track, and I don't know, I was amazed by it. Anyway,
I think it needs its own theme song. Does it have its own?
It kind of does.
I think we've used that one.
We have
haven't
many times. Hey, look, I just want to talk about Carl Larson as well. I mean, he ended up winning the event the night I was there.
Now, this is NASCAR Carl Larson.
Yes, yeah.
So we have been graced at K-Town, Kwinana Motorplex, with one of the legends.
Yep.
Probably all time. Legends of NASCAR.
That's correct.
Isn't that incredible?
It is
Isn't
incredible.
That incredible.
It is incredible. And it would have been nice if, I started thinking to myself, did Supercars miss a trick here? Could they not get on board as well? And
I think it's a different type of person, because there has always been a natural progression. This goes to Tony Stewart and a number of other famous NASCAR drivers, where you start in the oval track. And a lot of people here in Australia, in the 70s and so on, had that ambition that they would start in, Speedway and then hopefully one day be able to move into NASCAR. So I'm not sure that it translates well. And, where we've seen the V8 supercar drivers really excel hasn't been on the oval tracks. It's been on the what do they call?
Road circuits.
Where they have to turn
left and right.
Left and right. On the road. Well, they're not really road. Are they roads?
You mean that all of their wheels are the same size?
But do you not think that supercars or Triple Eight or one of the Chevrolet teams?
No, because I don't think that the NASCAR drivers would be able to win.
No. Just from a promotional point of view, bring a car over here to Perth, close off a city street. You got Carl Larson here. You got him here in town for 4 days. We couldn't close off Riverside Drive and get him in a Triple Eight Camaro.
Because if he had been over here and won Bathurst, right, then I would say, yeah, that's a valid point. But he wouldn't be able to be competitive in V8 Supercars.
No, I'm not asking him to race, from a promotional point of view.
Whether your fans and spectators for V8 Supercars would also be spectators and fans of NASCAR.
Yeah,
and it's about that cross-promotion.
Yeah.
And I feel as if we don't have too much of it within Australian motorsport. And it's as if there's like a fear that the fan base is going to move completely from one to another, where it's just open it up a little bit, because a lot of them have the same interests.
It's just because he wouldn't. It wouldn't work, because Kyle Larson would not be competitive in a V8 supercar, and then he would. It's like if he. Let's say we had. This is a really good example, right? So we had the Formula 5000 or whatever it was just recently. Okay, so let's say that took off, which it didn't, but let's say it did, and we got Daniel Ricciardo or someone to drive one of those cars in a race, and possibly have them do the street circuit, knowing that they're coming back to do the race. That would translate. That would work, because they're open wheelers. I would imagine that Dan would be able to be very competitive, as any of the Formula One drivers would be in that type of vehicle. But oval track, speedway, and a tarmac Kyle Larson is going to be competitive and probably win, as he did. But you put him in a V8 supercar and it's just kind of like, why is he, especially in Australia, most people are going to go, why is he even driving one? Like, does he,
I don't know. I see it as like, what's the car show, the
Top Gear.
And they'd get the celebrities in the car and they'd get some big names, and then you'd be like, oh, see, you might be able to drive this, but this is a bit more tougher to handle.
Yeah, did they ever get a NASCAR driver in any of those cars?
Into a
reasonably priced car, or
I don't know. I can't remember. Jimmy Johnson did. I'd be lying if I said I knew, but yeah,
I'm pretty sure that they never did because.
I think if you were to do a poll of which Australians are following NASCAR and then align with what other motorsport they follow, do you think that there would be boxes ticked in NASCAR and Speedway? I think there would be.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
absolutely, 100%.
Sorry, I was meant to say supercars.
Yeah, I think that people are starting to watch it because we've got, and we're going to have more moving forward. I believe Brody will end up there. But, the reverse I don't think works. I think that Aussies would watch NASCAR if an Aussie driver was driving a NASCAR, but I don't know whether I think we would all be going...
I'm going to pitch
Hey, mate, you got to turn the other way.
I'm going to pitch it differently.
You know what would work? If we still had Oscar here...
Yeah.
Right?
Oscar's cool.
Yeah, if we still had Oscar at the Thunderdome and you got him over and got him...
This is before my time, isn't it?
This is like XFs and VKs racing around the Calder Park Thunderdome.
Because we tried to get...
On a 205 15.
Right, I think this is before me.
We tried to... that big round thing at Calder Park that's empty? I used to race cars there.
Yeah.
We tried to get NASCAR to work over here.
Right.
And a lot of people were heavily invested. We had WA teams, and unfortunately they only had the one oval, which is at Calder Park, the Thunderdome. But they did take it to Barbagallows.
I was there.
Had a round
there.
We had a few rounds here and there. But yeah, the Oscar series was run there. You kept your car in the garage. You went, raced, every week or two. I think that if you got Kyle Larson over and that was still going, you put him in one of those cars, that'd be killer. That'd sell out. Absolutely sell out.
I'm going to pitch it differently. One last try, because we're spending a lot of time on this, but anyway, I want to pitch it differently. We're going to move into another section with supercars and the Perth City race, right? So we've got a government that is motivated to have supercars in the city. I'm going to pitch this differently to you then. We had Kyle Larson here in Australia, NASCAR, great. Was there not an opportunity for a team like 888, all supercars, or the government, right? All three come together and say, hey, look, we got this guy who's arguably the best driver in the world, who's challenged Max Verstappen to a race. Let's he has. Let's put him in.
What, a running race?
Let's put him in.
A horse race.
Let's put him in a 888 Red Bull Camaro. We'll close off Riverside Drive. Basil will make that happen, right? Rita and Basil come together and say, let's close off Riverside Drive. And let's just get him to lay a few burnouts. We get a few people there. We get some cameras there. Lay a few burnouts in a 888 Camaro, Red Bull Camaro. And that's it. He's here. What's the cost of that?
Well, look, for starters, you wouldn't have got the Roger Cook photo opportunity that we saw today. Right, number one.
That's the golden goose of photo opportunities. We had Kyle Larson. Then you bring Will Brown over or Brock Feeney. Brock Feeney's the poster boy.
When you guys are listening to this, I want you all to write in. Anyone that doesn't have a clue who Kyle Larson is, I want you to write in and tell Nick who is Kyle Larson. We're going to have a new segment of the show called Who is Kyle Larson? Moving on.
We spent a lot of time on that.
Massive success.
Kyle Larson won, by the way.
Yep. They took home the $100,000 back to America, which was about 50 cents US, I think, with the exchange rate the way
it's gone bad recently, hasn't it? It's
62
just like,
cents.
yeah, it's gone really bad.
Yeah, so you get 60 on the exchange. Anyway, Callum Williamson and the rest of the Aussies.
Yeah, look, James McFadden as well.
Yep.
Won both nights, the first night and the second night. That guy is, and Callum Williamson as well, and Dane Kingshot. A lot of the Australians really did us really proud. They can run with these guys. You have to understand that Brad Sweet and a lot of these Americans, Brock Zierfoss, they race just about every day of the week.
That's correct. They will often fly from a NASCAR race to a speedway race and fly back in the same day.
Yeah, wow.
These guys are racing, and Callum... these guys aren't racing as often, and they did us, the Australians, really proud. I was really proud of how we took it up to the Americans. Just as a matter of interest, did you know, I don't know if you knew, but High Limit is actually owned by Brad Sweet and Kyle Larson, and they are brother-in-laws. So Kyle is married to Caitlin, who Caitlin is Brad Sweet's sister. Just a bit of trivia there.
Yeah, right. And
Anyway.
It's been confirmed for next year as well.
Yep, correct. Yep.
Fabulous.
Can't wait.
I think a slight increase with prize money.
Yep. Yeah, it has actually. Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot to put that. So collectively, I think it's 140,000. So it's 110 for the win, and then there's a 30,000 prize pool as well.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So as Nick mentioned before with the photo opportunity, the Cook Labor government has announced plans for a new $217.5 million precinct at Burswood Park with a new circuit set for completion in 2027.
So this has been pushed back originally, and I don't want to make a big deal about this, but it's a big deal to me. Originally in June I checked the date, it was June 2nd of last year. This was, to my understanding, signed, sealed and delivered, and it was going to be 2026. Now it's an election promise, which is fine. I get how things work. I don't know. Is the Labor government using it as a bit of a vote?
I just can't wait for all those people that live opposite the stadium to complain about the noise.
Yeah,
I think
that's
it's
where
going to
my
be
first
so
thought was,
good.
actually.
And if there's a horse race on that weekend, oh my God, it's going to create havoc.
I don't know. So
they
anyway,
felt like they were getting noise complaints at Wanneroo. Try.
I
right in
know. I mean, there's a maternity hospital directly across.
the river, yeah.
Yeah.
What's that? That's where my kids were born. I don't
Same.
even know what
St.
it's
John
called.
of God. Is it
It's St. John of God
so.
now, but back in the day, when my kids were born there,
St. Mary's?
Was it St. Mary's?
Anyway,
It
it
escapes
is
me, but-
directly across the road.
Yeah.
I'm actually questioning. I don't think they actually do maternity there anymore. So
Oh, really?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Both my kids were born
St.
there.
Anne's.
Yeah, no, I think it's
Yeah,
just
it could be
with
St. Anne's,
a recent change.
Oh, they've changed?
Yeah, they stopped doing maternity at Glengarry, and I feel as if that St. John of God
Okay,
might have
maybe.
been the one also, but I'm not 100% sure. Didn't expect to see that one in the notes.
So,
No, it wasn't.
so
Maternity hospital.
no official track designs yet.
No, there's some artist impressions, but I need to see an overlay. What I'd love to see is an overlay of the roads. We actually drove through there the other night with the family, and I said, kids, this is where the track's going to be, and they're going to come through here. But I'd like to see an official overlay, a proper overlay.
And see how much of the mini golf
is gone.
course is going to be taken over.
Are they going to use part of the roads that are already there?
I believe so, yeah.
So you won't be able to get into Crown Towers during a race or go to your
but even
apartment.
those apartments that are they're all circus. They're one way in. They're all built around a roundabout.
They're going to love it. They're going to love it. It's going to be awesome. I love it. So, anyway,
we need to talk about some of the other funding that's coming through as well. Perth Motorplex is getting $10.75 million towards a new winged outlaw kart track.
So I thought we had that. It was called the Speedway.
I think you're being sarcastic there, but
what is the difference? What is a winged outlaw?
It would be a smaller track.
Oh,
and
they can't use.
Yeah, that's called the infield.
They can't use the other. Hang on.
We're going to get if you thought we're going to get complaints about Kyle Larson, wait till people hear.
I'm not going to get complaints about
Look,
Kyle.
I do know the winged outlaws because they run it like Ellenbrook and stuff.
Yeah.
Right. I just didn't realise there had to be.
Anyway, they're getting a 10.75
That's a lot of money.
million. Yeah, it is.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. LED lighting and club room upgrades. And a
Where's
new
the club room? What? Where's the club room?
Well, do you know where I could see that straight away with the high limits? And, we've seen it before on like their sponsor days and just at their entry point where they're
where Barbagallo hangs out.
Yeah.
That bit. Yeah.
They've been
I know
doing
where that
some marquee corporate
It would be awesome to see
events
some.
under
The
there.
high side. What do they call it? The high side there.
Be good to see some proper corporate boxes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I suppose ones that you can really have more as a bit of a function room
Yeah.
rather than just spectator
'cause
box, I suppose, like the corporate boxes.
I haven't been this year. I think I went last year or the year before, and it looked like a shipping container with an open wall.
So I went as an invited guest. Thank you very much to David Priolo when it was the Barbagallo nights.
Yep.
And my husband Trent was crewing on David's car at the time. And they, there is a building there which they would have catering, that they would have, chefs cooking and preparing meals out from that way.
The drag ones are way better, eh? Yeah? Or have I got that wrong?
The drag...
Corporate boxes.
I've only been inside the corporate boxes that are just table, chairs, viewing.
Yeah, but there's more of them, I think, at the drags than at the Speedway, or am I wrong? I could be wrong.
I'm not too sure, actually.
I've never counted, to be honest. But
this area for where they've had the high limits, it's open space. And so you're sitting on bar stools and tables, and then there's some rows of seating as well right up against the fence.
That looked really nice there as well.
Yeah, and they've got the marquee, they hang all the festoon lights, but then there might have been the shipping container, which you might have seen, might have been a bar.
Well, look,
There's
you
a
looked
bar
like
there.
had that feel about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but otherwise, you're in amongst all the atmosphere of it all. You're not closed in, and you walk around and you network and socialise and watch some racing.
Yeah.
So, along with the $10.75 million that they're putting towards the Motorplex and the $217.5 million they're going to put towards the Burswood district, they have promised $1.1 million to the Hurricane Go-Kart Club in Wundowie, I should say. $1 million to Tiger Kart Club. Ellenbrook Speedway is in line for $400,000 for lighting upgrades. Gidgee Gannup Motocross Facility, $400,000 for new toilets. And $1.3 million to deliver medical facility upgrades at 13 more karting WA tracks around the state.
So that is really grassroots investment there, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I thought it was really good to see the Gidgee Gannup Motocross Facility getting some funding, because the motocross tracks, they've been having a bit of a tough run lately. There's been a lot of tracks struggling, and I believe the insurance is a big thing that is affecting a lot of them.
It's affecting everyone in grassroots motorsports.
There's been a lot of motocross tracks closed down, and it's been really hard.
NHRA, Nick. NHRA.
For those that are listening, yes, this is a motorsport podcast. All right, lots of stuff going on in the NHRA, actually, funnily enough. There's a fair bit going on over there. Alexis De Joria has announced that she's moving over to Jonah Maynard Racing, JCM Racing, this year in 2025. So she's taken her car with her, the Bandero Premium Tequila-sponsored funny car, from Del Walsham's DC team, and she will be moving over to JCM next year. So she's been over there with Del Walsham for quite some time now. I think it's about 7 years or something like that. Well, I can't remember.
Yeah, and their partnership goes back before that, though, right? Alexis and Del, they raced together. They were teammates at one point.
Well, when I read the notes this afternoon, I was trying to think, was she tied up with was it with
Alan Johnson when it was Alanabi? Nala Johnson? She racing with him again with Del Worsham?
Thought that she had something to do with the Colettas at one stage.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, she was with the Colettas.
Yeah, that's where I thought that. But look, Joe Maynard has been working since entering drag racing as a sponsor originally. He's been working towards building up a team, and I think this is a great opportunity.
Yeah.
She can drive, and she's made so many finals over the years. I think it's just a matter of having the consistency in the team.
Yeah.
And, the big thing with any nitro category is your clutch discs and your floaters, right? And the bigger the team is, the more you can buy in one hit. And then you've got that consistency because you're going to be running the same clutch discs and floaters for the whole season. I think they're just basically taking that whole operation. A lot of the Del Worsham stuff is in conjunction, so you'll own X, Y, and Z, and then they'll bring, it could be people, knowledge, or,
Because she's always had her own major sponsor, of course, with, now NDRC Premium Tequila, but with Patron originally.
Her dad.
Yes.
Well, we discussed what that's called, didn't we?
Nepotism. Look, I think she's earned her place. She's earned her place.
She's been
absolutely,
definitely.
Absolutely. I would look. We're just joking. She's an incredible driver, and I think
it's cool seeing him down there too.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool
right
dude.
Into it as well.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool dude.
Spencer Hyde has got a full-time. This is what he was aiming for. You may remember Spencer Hyde from the 2023 World Series of Pro Mod. He won that race there. He won $100,000 US and took it back to Canada. He is racing with Jim Head at Jim Head Racing, so he's got a full-time Nitro Funny Cake.
So
congratulations.
Where's Blake Alexander off to?
That is a good question. I don't know. Don't know if he's got a ride for next year. So, don't know.
Because he did all right.
Yeah, I thought he was okay.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see how Spencer goes there. He always had ambitions of getting into Top Fuel or funny cars, so it's great to see him finally get there. John Force Racing, they announced this week as well. I think it was last week, actually. Jack Beckman would be driving, would be replacing for the entirety of 2025, John Force. John Force still hasn't said that he's not racing anymore, but you would seem to think that is going to be the case, I wouldn't imagine.
Oh, mate, I wouldn't count him out yet.
No, maybe not. Maybe not. But anyway, it's great to see Jack Beckman in there. Toyota, interesting announcement as well. Toyota Motorsport North America is getting out of NHRA, and that means there will be no Toyota in NHRA as of 2026. They've been there since 2002.
Do you guys have any idea of how big a deal the Toyota thing is in terms of what they bring to the track?
Oh, well, just seeing the amount of Toyota partner race teams that they support, there are huge, massive names, and names that have also been very successful sponsoring the series in itself as well. It's surprising to know that this is coming now.
Yeah.
Right at such a high point of NHRA after such a competitive season last year. I feel like NHRA had a bit of a dip a few years ago where a lot of the teams have rebuilt or new teams have been created, and it's really at a high point. I was shocked to hear this because you had Caps winning the championship in the new GR Supra bodied funny car, and then this year Antron Brown. So it's 2 years in a trot that they've taken out the major category, or one of the major categories, but they bring not only the Supra body, which TRD designs, wind tunnel tests, etc., and brings tech on, weight distribution and certain things, but they also have their own track specialist,
that services all the teams and provides information to all the teams. The aero specialists, they're just so involved in every aspect of it, and I think it's going to be a huge loss. And I'm devastated that they're leaving the sport, and I really hope that someone comes along to fill their shoes, because they are an important part of the NHRA.
They did a lot of branding as well, which was which I always found interesting. Like, and I'm not just talking about the cars, but I'm talking about even the engines and the motors as well. Like, if you looked back in the day, you'd see Toyota. I know they're not Toyota motors, but they would have Toyota rocker covers on the Hemis.
Yeah, right.
And which led you to think that for the uninitiated that they were Toyota engines.
Yeah.
Now, I've always said that is probably the best marketing you can do for the uninitiated. You put the Toyota name and the logo on a Hemi rocker cover, and I think that's just,
Yeah, but even showcasing your new cars in the tow vehicles.
Well, the tow vehicles, but then, the funny cars with the fiberglass bodies, and then you go into all the merchandise and the die-cast models that then flow onto that. It's it's surprising. I suppose we don't really have too long until our season starts up again at the end of February.
It's not far away. Yeah. I think there's a bit of...
saying that, Pomona is usually the opener.
Mm-hmm. Well, we don't... Yeah, because they changed... to keep costs down. So a lot of this has happened... as a knee-jerk reaction to COVID, where they were basically running at one track, but they made a commitment to the races to try and make the circus go in a circle rather than going backwards and forwards across America.
I thought with the season had always started in Pomona and finished in Pomona. That's been a...
They would start with the Winter Nationals. Used to be the traditional start, but I think that's... Yeah, I'm not sure.
It wasn't last year. Winter Nationals.
No, that's
it was
right.
Like 3 or 4 races in.
I think it got rained out, didn't it? The Winter Nationals.
But they changed the order so that the teams would be working their way across the country rather than going backwards and forwards, and that was because the cost of diesel got so expensive because of the war with Ukraine. So I don't know. I actually. Haven't had a chance to look at the calendar. I think it's interesting to note that Toyota's leaving the NHRA and entering the Australian Supercar Series the same year. I still don't get that deal. The
deal is now being complicated by Toyota announcing that they're dropping the Supra in 28, I think. 27.
Oh, well, no, that makes sense then. That way, all the cars in V8 supercars won't be available anymore. Makes perfect sense.
You opened him up for that one.
I didn't know where he was going with that.
Yeah, I was like, oh.
That makes perfect sense.
Anyway, you raise a valid point. But maybe there's a possibility that it'll be a switch back to the Camry in supercars.
Yeah.
You wanted that though, didn't you?
Yeah, we kind of did, but I mean,
They were listening, Simon.
Yeah, I know, but realistically, if you want supercars to succeed now, you're probably going to need to try and attract BYD or, Tesla or Is Great Wall and BYD, is that the same car?
Oh, I don't know. Funnily enough, I don't follow that kind of...
No, well, none of us do, but, that's what's out there now.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of just the badges changing, aren't they?
There's
a lot of systems.
Before we move into the next segment, we need to make sure, Nick, that you distinguish between IHRA and IHRA Australia.
Yes. Okay. So, the next section that we're talking about, IHRA, we are referring to IHRA in the US. In the United States, not the IHRA Australia.
Or, if it was a Twitter tag, it would be at the real IHRA.
Ooh, that's what he set me up for, wasn't it? Hey, so it was interesting. IHRA this week, just the other day, announced that they're parting ways with Kenny Nowling as the president, the series president, and they made a short statement via social media. The International Hot Rod Association and former president Kenny Nowling have officially parted ways, effective immediately. This decision reflects our unwavering commitment to safety, competition, and integrity. So Kenny was appointed back in October of 2024. In December of 2024, Kenny also announced that the IHRA had been purchased by Daryl Cattell, and which was originally founded by Larry Carrier in 1970. So Daryl Cattell is the owner of Durana Hybrid, and he purchased the series. And they also announced just not that long ago that they were doing 10 IHRA Nitro drag racing series, a big series with 10 races, and for 2025. And they also announced a groundbreaking partnership with the NFL Cincinnati Bengals, which is a NFL football team. So, which was, I found interesting. It didn't, I don't see the synergy there, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
Didn't get it.
No, we've had. Let's run through this. So we've got Pro Bull riding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is a team. This is
Hang on, Simon.
Hang on.
When you don't understand the cross promotion between Speedway and Supercars, but you understand the cross promotion between drag racing and
NASCAR and Supercars.
football?
Yeah, but
NASCAR and
No.
in that direction.
That's a lot.
Hang on, we've had the New York Yankees.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
what?
We've had a basketball one as well.
So, like, this would be like
Do
saying...
you guys remember the New York Yankees? That was a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
They ran Top Fuel.
Yeah.
Yep. You don't remember it? Didn't Cowan drive it?
Yeah,
I was just trying to think who was driving it.
Yeah.
I remember that. I can picture the car.
I'm pretty
I can't
sure Andrew Cowan
No,
was driving
I can understand. I can understand a team sponsoring a car. There might be some synergy there, but this is a whole series getting behind a team. It just didn't. It didn't. I don't know. It's like Andra becoming a West Coast Eagles partnership with the West Coast Eagles. What?
Well, if Andra was localised to Western Australia, hang on a minute.
Yeah, see, it would be like Andra, so with the Adelaide Crows. It just doesn't. I don't see the synergy there.
Look,
I see the synergy in a lot of things, but I didn't get this one. But I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Write in and tell us.
Maybe they just have a really big fan base that they're hoping will show interest and come across to drag racing. Look, they're
Kiss.
opposite seasons, right? So you're not stealing pretty much opposite
we've
seasons.
had
Yeah, exactly opposite.
we've
So
had
you
Marvel.
know,
Yeah.
Marvel sponsoring the NHRA. We've had Kiss. sponsoring
Marvel was sponsoring the AFL as well.
Yeah.
Marvel?
Yeah.
Really?
Marvel Stadium. You're kidding.
Oh, the stadium. Yeah, but they do other stuff there.
Well, I thought you were going there because we were talking about West Coast.
They
Eagles
played
and
cricket at
Crows
our
and-
stadium, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's an interesting synergy, one that I don't necessarily
TNP.
get.
Yeah, and because it has only really just been announced with that, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out and what they're doing with that. But I think if anything at all, you know, trying to attract an untapped fan base possibly, and I don't follow the NFL, but does Cincinnati have a big fan base? Have they got full stadiums? I know that when the announcement was made and it was all on their LED screens, that the stands looked pretty full. But I thought we should also mention as well that 10 IHRA Nitro Jam drag racing rounds, that's a number moved up from 3. I
Yeah,
believe.
it's a
Yeah,
huge
correct,
jump
So
up.
yes.
that's a big.
It's a
that's
big jump
big
up
jump.
from last year, which I can't see them pulling off. to be honest.
So let's just have a quick discussion about this because this has been a topic of discussion for probably the last 10 years, the IHRA versus the NHRA. So back in the day, you had Bill Batter, right, who was arguably, you know, the best promoter drag racing has ever seen. People argue, oh, what about Wally Parks? Different sort of promoter. Bill Batter would get on the jet car while it was doing the burner pops while, drinking a Budweiser and cheering to the crowd.
It was the Bob Hawke of...
Yeah, maybe. I see the connection there. But anyway, he is really the man responsible for Pro Modified. I don't think anyone would argue. And the argument was always that it made the NHRA be better. It forced them to go look for TV, to offer bigger prize money. And, one of the Top Fuel drivers that I'm a big fan of, Clay Milligan, he dominated IHRA, and then they would go and have a play in the NHRA. And Clay often argued that the rules were way tougher in the IHRA because they had limited overdrive. They had, so in Top Alcohol, for example, you couldn't run a screw blower in IHRA. It was roots blowers only. Yeah. So this might be a move to go back to that direction, because where the IHRA kind of fell off the face of the earth is when the nitro circus people took it over because they thought drag racing was cool, and it became an exhibition sport for a while where it was more like WWF.
Are we talking about actual nitro circle? Circus?
The motocross.
Nitro circus.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
They owned it for a short amount of time, and then it got changed hands. They have obviously big companies that run those deals because it's not like you can book those venues and have all those people and put on that big show. It's a big corporation, just like the Monster Jam is.
Feld Sports, yeah.
Yeah. So maybe this is a move to bring it back to a drag racing, an option to the NHRA. I think that we just got to wait and see what happens, because under Larry Jeffers, and Larry Jeffers is a great guy, but he had turned it into basically a bracket racing deal so that the smaller tracks could get their insurance and so on through the IHRA. And at the same time as he was doing that, another organisation had started up that was strictly bracket racing, with the intention of educating the tracks on how to run the track efficiently, and also by amalgamating a bunch of tracks together under a membership program, being able to buy things like hot dog buns at a cheaper price and so on, with that buying power that, which is kind of why there's not a lot of hardware stores now, because you've got Bunnings, which is so big and dominates the space. So this might be an attempt to try and have something that is competitive against the NHRA. And if you're a fledgling team starting off in Top Fuel, because they traditionally never had Nitro Funny Car. They had Top Fuel and Top Alcohol Funny Car. That was the IHRA formula, and Pro Modified. Yeah, and Australia followed that.
Yeah, that's kind of how we followed it with our format.
Top Door Slammer, Top Alcohol, and Top Fuel. We did have Nitro Funny Car, but it was never really...
That was exhibition.
Pretty much,
wasn't it always?
Yeah.
Well, it was only just 3 months that Kenny Nowling was in place as the president, but there were some big changes in that time, but a pretty significant exclamation point with his effective immediately. So
it could be just as I said before. Maybe in the organisation there's already people that are talented enough to do that role, and they don't require him. I honestly don't know, but it's interesting to be there only 3 months and then make a big announcement the way they did.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's raised eyebrows at the very least. Hey, Tarmac Rally Sprint is back up and going. So this Thursday night, 16th of January, get to the Motorplex. I love the rally sprints, and entries are still open for that. That's round 3.
Are we getting Ross on the show?
We can get Ross on the show if we want.
We should get Ross on the show.
Get an update on this, what he's got planned for 2025. Round 4 is on Thursday, the 6th of February, 2025 at the Motorplex. Then it's off to Albany for the traditional long week. It's becoming a bit of a tradition for those guys now, the Albany Sprint and Rally Sprint as well. That's the 2nd and 3rd. That's the long weekend down in Albany.
That is the Sunday and Monday.
Yes, correct. Yep. So if you're big weekend of motorsport here in WA, we'll talk about that in a moment. And the Lance East Exotics Tarmac Southwest is on the 29th of March 2025 in Pemberton. I went to that a few years ago. Awesome day out. Love that. And it brings the whole Southwest alive down there. So get to that as well. What's coming up? We've got a heap coming up. On the 18th of January, we've got Nitro Max featuring Tommy Johnson Jr.
Tommy Johnson Jr. You know, we were talking about the High Limit International, right? And Kyle Larson coming over, taking it out. Tommy Johnson Jr. is one of the most famous drag races, funny car pilots in particular, the world has ever seen. And, you know, I urge anyone, he's a great guy, very approachable, anyone that's listening to this, head down, 18th of January, Nitro Max. Go and get his signature. Tell him that you appreciate the fact that he's flown all the way over here to drive for Rory Taylor. In the do you know which one he's driving? Is he driving the
Pontiac, isn't it? The red one?
Nitro Thunder.
Yeah.
Nitro Thunder. He's driving it. Yeah. I think it's incredible that we get the opportunity for someone like Tommy Johnson Jr. to come over here and drive and show off his skills in front of the Perth crowd. Most certainly.
Then if you want to hang around there, the next day is Custom Cars and Coffee. Jason actually threw the formula out the window and ran one on Saturday night at the Midvale Speed Dome. We actually went to that, and it was literally stand-in room only.
Yeah.
You could not get a car in there. There wasn't a blade of grass to be seen. It was a car. There were cars on top of cars. It was awesome, cool. Actually. So, but yeah, head down to the Motorplex on 9 o'clock the next day on the Sunday.
Camp in the pits.
Yeah.
Stay the night.
The Australia Day is the Ariani.
You're still allowed to call it that?
What's that?
Australia Day.
Yes, the ACC Australia Day.
They are.
Carco, it's at 8 o'clock. That's on Australia Day down at Carco Raceway, Wanneroo Raceway.
Didn't get cancelled?
Not yet.
No, Woolies didn't cancel. No, Coles. Anyway.
31st of the 1st to the 2nd of February is Motivation at the Motorplex. Then the same day, the Sunday, is Classic Cars and Coffee at UWA.
Just before you go too far with that, right? For those of you that don't know, my understanding is that the Motorplex does not run Motivation anymore. It is run by a separate company. I had some customers in today, and they still haven't got their paperwork.
Motivation's run by
it was
the same people that run Summernats. It's Andy Garcia.
Yeah, but then remember when the announcement came out about their LCMT Plus partnership, Motivation was left out of that. I think we were questioning whether that was still being ran. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I just know that
I haven't seen any advertisement before.
I have, I have. There's been a bit.
Yeah, so if anyone from Motivation is listening, you might want to get that paperwork out to everyone so that they know what's going on.
So on the Sunday as well, the 2nd of February, Classic Cars and Coffee at UWA, that's at 8:30 a.m. Then the weekend after, another big weekend down at the Motorplex, it's the 7th and the 8th of February. It's the Barbagallo Mr. Sprint Car Nationals at the Perth Motorplex.
Always a massive meeting.
I'm going to try and get to that this year as well. I'm going to try for a media pass. Chris, if you're listening, I will be ringing you tomorrow.
Wear your Coney shirt.
Well, you know what? I've got to say, you know, as I said earlier, I was down for the last meeting where Reno was out in the hot rod doing a few laps, getting his license, and the commentary, Chris Mitchell and his partner in crime in the commentary box, it has gotten so much better. Those guys are doing the research. You're really doing the hard yards. Chris is doing just a fantastic job.
Was it J Mac in the commentary box on Saturday?
He's back every now and then, J Mac.
Whoever it was, they did a fantastic job. It was just good to hear.
Normally Corey as well. It's normally Corey and Chris that are together.
It could have been,
Corey wasn't there on the weekend, but I definitely know that J Mac was, and Bridget was there also. But
it might have been.
It was good to hear J Mac.
It just was really good commentary. It was, it brought me back to the days of Stewie Bond and Richie, and that's really important because that sets the vibe for the event. And this is, like my personal opinion, but it's not necessarily everyone else's. This is where I think eliminations is better for the crowd because you can lead up to the final. You can build the story. Like in the case between yourself and Paul Garbolini, the big rivalry there on the track, and how close it's been, and you guys have been sharing blows all season in there.
And have both had a couple of like unfortunate reasons for why the final hasn't gone in our favour. My memory has come back to me now, and I remember how that played out.
You were trying to forget it.
My transmission. I lost oil pressure in my transmission.
Not one of
the
mine.
Finals.
Just clarifying, not one of mine. So on the 9th of February, the Italian Car Spectacular, Fremantle Fishing Boat Harbour. Do you think Marco will be there?
Yeah,
he normally is.
So yes. He's under the pump, Marco, at the moment.
Always.
Yeah. The 12th for the second, we got midweek sprint car madness. So this is all part of the Barbagallo. They always do that on the 1 week as well. So midweek sprint car madness, that's a Wednesday night. Then the 14th and the 15th is the Cricket Boys shootout. Then the 16th of February, shout out to Pete and Allison at Northern Steel. It's their sundowner at Joondalup Resort. Head to that. I've gone to that a few times. It's an awesome day.
The big one, the 1st and the 2nd of March. Be there or be squared. The Western Nationals.
Cannot wait for that one. I will be there both days.
And so will I, racing.
You'll be...
Simon.
No, I won't be.
You won't be?
I don't... Yeah, I mean...
Well, you've got to be in it to win it, Simon.
I know, but, married, kids.
I'm married with kids.
I know, but you're the wife, see?
I make the rules.
That's the difference. Do you want to just quickly cover the
NDRC championship as it stands?
So we have had...
You ready? I'm going to put my glasses back on.
We've had one round... this year we've only had one round, but we've had one round in all the classes
except for Top Door Slammer,
which we've had 3 rounds.
3 rounds, yeah. Top Door Slammer have shot ahead with 3 rounds. Top Fuel Motorcycle has also had 2 rounds.
2 rounds. Okay,
Top Fuel Motorcycle, that wasn't around last weekend
like
it was originally programmed. So have we got the updated copy here? We've got Top Fuel Motorbikes running at Perth Motorplex this weekend. Last weekend was originally a scheduled round for it as well, but that changed.
Yes, but they've run 2. They've run at the Bend and they've run at the Golden States. Oh, okay. Yeah, but that's this weekend. So that hasn't... Yeah.
Yeah.
So
they don't have the dates here.
Yeah, but that's coming up this weekend. So this point score is up to date as we record. As we record on the 13th of January, Top Fuel Motorcycle. So that's coming up, round 3 that you can see there. That hasn't happened yet.
You know what's funny about... all right, so let's just go through this. So in Top Fuel, Phil Reed is leading the charge over Wayne Newby, 149 points to 115. Nitro Funny Car, it's Josh Lay over Adam Murphy, 139 points to 93. In Pro Alcohol, Russell Mills once again dominating the season, this time over Chris Hargraves, 148 points to 112. In Top Door Slammer, with 3 rounds being run, Russell Taylor is leading over Lisa Gregorini by just under 100 points. Is that right?
97 I've got there.
Yeah, 97. Now, I'd just like to point out, I looked at that and went, oh, wow, they're getting some, big numbers in Door Slammer again. It's almost back to where it was when I was racing, 19 cars. And then I went, oh, hang on a minute. There's a couple of names there that haven't run any rounds.
Which is interesting, because in Top Fuel they haven't done the same thing. Why haven't they put Phil Lamartina in Top Fuel?
I don't know.
It was 0.
I don't know. Top Fuel motorcycle.
Well, did they enter and then something happened in qualifying? Or?
Okay. Good point.
Yeah.
Top Fuel motorcycle. We have a tie for first and second. Damien Muscat with that evil 5-second motorcycle that I can't wait to see run. I hope he's coming over here to run. He had to have, after running that ridiculous pass, he had gone into the sand previously, I believe, and broken his collarbone and still managed to run a 580 unbelievable. So he and Wayne McGuinness are both tied at 149 points. So you look forward to seeing those guys at the next round over here. Pro Stock, it is John Barbacallo. Wow, I'm going to ring him up. I didn't know he was leading points. Over Robert Deckett. 135, leads 126. Pro Stock Motorcycle, Jason Lee with 135 points over Luke Crowley, 129, only 8 points separating him. I'm not going to say the next one, you can do that one.
Pro Mod. Zoran Gajic, 143 points over Peter Gratz, 110 points.
Gratzy's racing again?
Yeah.
What's he in?
I don't know. I can't remember the cars.
Wow, I'm going to have to look into that. That's great to see Peter Gratz back out there.
And Pro Import, it's Frank Tarabay, 129 points over Paul Mahoye.
You remember Paul?
I do remember Paul.
Paul used to run a real car.
Yep.
Only joking. We love our 6 bangers and our 4 bangers, any sort of bangers.
Anyway, well, that's what's coming up. That's what we have happening. And what else have you got coming up, Simon?
What have I got coming up? I've got work.
Okay. Right.
You know what I really am going to try and make some time for. So we've got a bunch of jobs that we need to get done before this next meeting, but I'm going to try and get everything done before Friday because I really want to get out to some of these problem places around Perth, and I want to set up a Facebook page and a YouTube channel. And maybe Insta. Which one of you guys are going to have to explain what Instagram is to me? We're going to call it...
Don't look at me, because I have no idea.
We're going to call it Gonzo for Premier, right? And we're going to do little videos pointing out little things that need to be changed around Perth to make it better.
Well, you're in my... I'm in your zone, I think, so you can have my vote. But you might be a bit behind with the Instagram. I think you got to go straight to TikTok. That's apparently
TikTok.
I think that's where you catch them all.
I think Donald Trump's shutting that down, isn't he?
Yeah, well, true. In the US, it is going down, but you don't need to worry about them. You're targeting your locals.
That's it.
You need your 10,000. You need your 10,000 followers.
Yep. And Michelle, you all ready for the weekend?
Yeah, yep, all ready for the weekend, thankfully. Didn't really have to do too much since the last event, but just gave her a service. And it's on Saturday, and I've got Trent's birthday on Thursday, so we're going to have a little date night, first in a very long time, and then we'll be down there on Saturday, ready to go. Our schedule actually came out today, but I didn't have a look just yet to see where all the times are laying. But
you guys must be so close in the points, hey?
I am 5 points in lead at the moment.
Wow,
but,
that's so
close. It's really going to come down to the Western Nationals again, being that we're not doing a Chicago shootout all-round format for the Western Nationals to be able to really get a strong break between our points with that, because it really doesn't leave much room. Yeah.
Okay.
But we will have to see what numbers they bring for the Western Nationals, but otherwise it will be exciting to have Top Fuel back.
Surely if it's an NDRC round, races from Bend minimum are going to travel. I mean, the South Australians love coming over here.
Yeah, you'd think so.
And you would assume that there might be a lot more races now in South Australia with the Bend, being open for a few years now, whether that has grown for their bracket racing in particular, for the bigger classes. We might have seen their names already come up through our point series, but it would be good to see.
Definitely. All right, well, look, on that note,
bombshell.
On that, we'll finish this episode here. This has gone way, way over, but that's all right. That's all good. We'll catch you in a couple of weeks' time.
After a month.
That's true. That's a good point, actually. It's been a month, so...
Do you reckon I'll get
I couldn't even remember what I did for a race.
Jimmy's going to call you into the office. So, Nick, you got to deal with that guy.
Definitely. 100%. All right, on that note, we'll end this podcast here and take care, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Thank you.
See you later.
See ya.